Manga.
I am a triplet with an older sister and a younger brother. My sister is already married and has left home, and I started living alone a year ago to go to work in Tokyo. One day, when I was still a student and living with my parents, I received a call from my youngest brother. Sorry, I was on a business trip and couldn't answer the phone. What's up? You're still at school, right?
I only had school for half a day. More importantly, Mum's having an affair. What should I do?
Mom having an affair? Wait, I don't get it. She's not at an age to be having an affair anymore, though. My mother will be 50 next year, and I never heard of her doing something like that.
I don't want to believe it either, but it's true. I was walking down the street and at an intersection, Mum was arm in arm with a very young man, and they were flirting the whole time they were waiting at the light. I didn't want to believe it, and it made me want to throw up.
I wanted to believe it was a lie too, but I was at a loss because I didn't think my brother would lie either. Are you kidding me? Mom having an affair? Wait, I'll have to go. I'll call you later. I tried to calm myself down, but my mind was panicking and I couldn't think straight. Then I received a phone call again. I thought it was my brother, but this time it was my sister. Hey, I know you're working, but can you take a day off from noon? Is it about Mom by any chance? You knew? Brother called me just now and told me that he saw Mom and a young man he doesn't know walking arm in arm. So it's true. I actually got a call from Dad, and he wants you to come over and talk about Mom. I felt a sense of danger by the unusual situation. Explained the situation to my boss at work, and decided to take my sister's car and drive to my parents' house with a paid leave. My father and brother were already there. Wait, what's going on? And as soon as we arrived, my mother said the most ridiculous thing. Oh, now we're all here. I actually met the man of my dreams. I'm going to be with him. That's why I'm divorcing your dad. What are you talking about, Mom? Are you out of your mind? Think about how old you are. How old is he? He's 29. Are you kidding me? He's old enough to be your child. Age doesn't matter when you're in love. I don't know if she's in love with someone new or what. Right now, my mother's head is in a flower garden and she's not listening to anything anyone has to say. Dad!
I'm telling her to wake up too. If she changes her mind now, I'll forgive her for her delusion. But since she has no intention of doing so...
Wake up! You dummy. I realized my true love because I woke up, didn't I? My life has been such a bore until now. All I did was housework every day, and I didn't have any freedom. Didn't have any freedom? How dare you! Who do you think made it possible for you to be a housewife all your life? It's because Dad worked hard every day, and you were always going out with the neighbors, even on overnight spa trips. How dare you say something like that? My brother and I agreed with her on that. My father had a good income, so my mother was able to live on her own as a housewife for a long time. And my father was kind, so if my mother wanted to go out to eat with neighborhood friends, he would pay for it. And even if she said it was a vacation, he would gladly see her off. How could she tell him that her life was a bore or that she didn't have any freedom? My sister and I were beginning to feel fed up by our mother's words. But my brother, still in high school, didn't want to face the reality that his mom would betray his father and have an affair with a young man. He tried to convince his mother anyway. Despite that, she still didn't listen to him at all. And when she eventually left the house after divorcing my father, she only seemed to see her own happiness in front of her. Despite the fact that she's leaving her family behind with a twinkle in her eye. See you. She said that and left. We were not sure if there were any alimony issues between my father and mother because we were children and it was not our place to say anything about it. Thinking it would be hard for my father and brother to take care of the housework now that it was just the two of them, I decided to stop living alone and return to my parents' house.
Sorry to cause you so much trouble.
What are you talking about? Neither you nor my brother can do housework, right? You guys are terrible cooks too. My father laughed when I said that. My father must have been quite shocked because my mother cheated on him, but he was still the same father he had always been. Probably because he didn't want his children to worry, especially my youngest brother. My sister, who is married, started showing up several times a week, and my brother-in-law often talked to my brother, so my brother who was down gradually regained his strength. And as the months passed, my younger brother who was in high school graduated from college and went on to live by himself. I also got engaged and my sister had a baby. After my brother left home, my father said he would live alone. But since my fiance had circumstances and didn't have parents, he wanted us to move in with my father when we got married. When my father heard that,
I can't interfere with you newlyweds. Go on, live on your own.
he said that, but my fiance, who was worried about my father more than me, really wanted to live with him, so he ended up giving in. My father was about to retire, and with half of his retirement and my fiance's savings, we built a duplex and moved in the day we got married. My sister and brother came to the wedding, of course. It was a small but beautiful wedding, and my father was in tears. We were so happy that we had forgotten all about our mother. Then, one day, when my father and sister and brother and I returned home from shopping to have lunch together for the first time in a while, someone who looked like my mother was wandering around the house, and as soon as she saw our faces, she said, "Long time no see," and came up to us. "Hey, guys, I heard you guys built a duplex. I heard from your neighbors. What a nice house." Everyone was stunned. And then my sister, "What are you doing here after all this time?" "What do you mean? I came back."
What are you talking about? You left your family for a young man. There's no place for you to come back now.
"Don't say that. It was just a misunderstanding. Remember, I was good at housework, right? With a house this big, there's plenty of room for me. Stop joking around. There's no home you can come back to now. Go home. If you don't leave, I'll call the police." My mother was horrified and momentarily freaked out when I said that. I'll be back," and left. Apparently, my father contacted my mother's parents after that, and my grandfather became very angry. My grandfather was always very fond of my father for his politeness and his kindness. My grandfather was already very angry with my mother when she abandoned him after she had an affair, but he was very relieved when he heard that our family was living happily. But he couldn't stand the fact that my mother was once again shaking up the family for her own selfish reasons. And my grandfather, despite being very old, took a detective to investigate my mother's background thoroughly, and sure enough, my mother had been abandoned by that young man. With nowhere to go and no money, she took advantage of my father's kindness and came back to our home. My father did say in the beginning that he would forgive my mother when she cheated on him, but it's too late now. Then, I heard my mother was not allowed to return to her parents' house and was forced to get a live-in job with a dormitory. It was a company that was famous for being corrupt, and there were rumors that people would quit immediately because of the harshness of the work and the low wages. My mother, who has no money and no place to live, won't be able to escape from there, and she would repent for what she did at best.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.